Boom, I'm in the room. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Everyday Conversations regarding mental health. Now, I had a little bit of a drama. At the moment, my guest hasn't turned up. Don't know why, but it's these things happen. I had a call from my guest earlier in the week saying they couldn't make it, so I found a new guest was going to come on. Not quite sure where he is. Anyway, what we'll do is we'll get on with it anyway. The old internet seems to be a bit up and down at the moment, so we'll see how it goes. You can see I've got the behind the scenes camera on, so you can see what's going on. So because there's nothing on the telly, obviously, you've got me tonight as a normal, coming live to you from the old Heale Manor. Don't forget, if this is your first time here, you can subscribe to the channel for free. It doesn't cost anything at all. If you click the thumbs up, give us a thumbs up. That's always good. And once you have subscribed, click the bell icon and click all, and that'll notify you when I go live. Piece of cake, you say to yourself. So tonight, you know about the quizzes on a Tuesday, live, awesome quizzes every Tuesday. We kick off at 8 o'clock on those, and I've got some great ones coming up. I've been working hard. The Duchess has been working hard as well, putting the quizzes together, and I've put them in. And when is it? The week after next, I think we've got a Mother's Day quiz coming up. Oh, this next week we've got a Disney quiz. So if you know your Disney, let's test you. And we've got a few other specials coming up as well. So, right. Carrying on the theme of mental health and destigmatising it, tonight we're going to carry on the conversation regarding anxiety and depression, stress, that sort of aspect around the mental health issue. Now, lots of people, what's my first one? Let's move on. Bang, look, you've got me. Oh. So mental health affects just about everybody. I don't think anybody can get away with it nowadays. It's a difficult one. Lots and lots of people in these times, for one reason or another, get anxiety. It might be over the cost of living. It might be a whole myriad of things that they're suffering from. That brings on their anxiety, pushes up their stress levels, and that can lead on to depression. Depressed that you haven't got enough money coming in, you can't afford to pay your heating bills, you're struggling at coughing up enough money to buy food, and that can have an effect on your mental health. I know it's difficult. At the moment, everything's going up. You can't get appointments at the doctors. You can't get an ambulance for love nor money because they're on strike. Nurses are going on strike. Trains are on strike. You can't get anywhere. You've got these other people that are just stopping oil, that are blocking up arterial routes, blocking up the motorways, stopping people getting around. That can add to stress because you're off to a job. You're trying to get to where you need to get to go to work, and you've got some clowns blocking the road. The whole place has come to a standstill. That can increase your stress levels. That can increase your anxiety. And that knocks on to the depression because you can't work because You can't get there. You can't earn money. You can't afford to pay your bills. You can't afford your mortgage. You can't afford your food. The Bank of England, I missed it, but I think they were today was they were talking about maybe putting up interest rates yet again. That's going to have an effect on lots and lots of people that have got mortgages and loans. If you've got the flexible interest rates and they're only going in one direction at the moment and it ain't down, that can bring on a lot of pressure. Are you going to lose your house because you can't afford the cost of living? You can't afford your mortgage. You can't afford food. You can't afford to heat the place. And you're getting into more and more debt. Thus, it's bringing up your stress levels. It's bringing up your anxiety, and then manifesting into going into some sort of deep depression. It's really difficult. Once you get onto that spiral down, it's difficult to drag yourself back up, particularly when everything's going against you. So, yeah, from that point of view, it's stress, anxiety and depression start manifesting themselves into more serious mental health. You can't get an appointment to see the doctor. If you could, what's he going to do? He's going to do one or two things. He's going to prescribe you antidepressants. You don't really want to get onto that that conveyor belt. You get addicted to those things. Or he's going to refer you on to a mental health team, and you get. Evening, Nige. How you doing, mate? You can. Once you get onto that, is then trying to get an appointment. Good evening, Vanessa. Welcome. So these things are going to build up. They're going to get more difficult. Getting onto a specialist nowadays is you wait months and months and months. For veterans, it's not too bad because we've got several charities that are out there that can help, and can help immediately. If you're at a really dark place, then there are charities out there that will jump in and help immediately. One of them is Forgotten Veterans UK, based down here over in Southsea. Give them a call and they will come out almost straight away to help a veteran. And they do a really, really good job for veterans. And I guess if you're a civilian, they may even help you as well. But they're primarily set up to help veterans. And veterans are in dire needs nowadays. I mean, we're looking at the suicide numbers a little while ago, and the amount of veterans taking their own life is unprecedented at the moment. It's crazy. Evening, Valletta. How you doing, darling? My guest didn't turn to tonight. Don't know why. I didn't get a message. I had a message earlier in the week that the guy I had coming on couldn't make it. So I've got somebody else lined up, and they haven't managed to make it yet. But if you want to jump in, Valletta, feel free. It's the same link as last week, and I'll just drop you in. So step 2, wellbeing, have been a great support. That's good, Nige. Glad you're getting the help you need. For you, there's Forgotten Veterans UK. They may be a point of contact in the future if you start going into that dark place again. But for me, I'm I'm doing all right. A while back, back in November, here's a little story. I've told it once or twice before, but if you haven't heard this before, they released the figures for where veterans are in the country. Off the back of the census we did a while back, one of the questions was, are you a veteran and where do you live? And there are two hotspots in the country where clusters of veterans are. One is in Richmond in North Yorkshire. The other one is Gosport and Fareham. And Gosport and Fareham has the biggest concentration of veterans in the country. And I've added to that because that's where I live. So, from that point of view, we're lucky. There's lots and lots of veterans groups around here that help get veterans together, basically. I was at one this afternoon, the VOS, which was Veterans Outreach Support. We meet up every Thursday afternoon for a couple of hours, a cup of tea and a wet and a biscuit or two. But today we had bacon and sausage rolls. Ooh. And they were donated, actually, today. They was actually donated by the NAFI. Normally ASDA provide them for us. ASDA's got a team here that supports veterans in this area. And by the way of doing that, they cough up some grub for us once a month, which is good. And they give us biscuits as well for the other weeks. And then there's another group, or carry on with VOS. They lay on lots and lots of different activities for veterans and partners as well. Yesterday, the old Duchess, she went across to one of the classes and they were making hand cream. They have a Skittles and Snorkers evening. So they have lots and lots of things that they do for veterans, and they have an outreach once a month, and that's the first Wednesday of the month. So it's next week, and I should be going along to that because I need to see a couple of people, particularly Veterans UK, because they're supposed to be doing some stuff for us, and so far they haven't done anything. Oh, I've got a couple of other people. Evening, Catherine. Evening, Kelvin. Welcome if it's your first time. We're over on, I'm not seeing your comments coming up. I guess you're on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, I can't see your comments coming in, but I'm monitoring it. And then there's another group I go to on the first Wednesday of the month called Buns and Banter. And that's a great little group. You don't have to have issues or anything like that. It's just a group that get together and they lay on little things. We did ceremonial divisions at HMS Sultan back in November, and we've been invited to go along again in March to go along to watch the ceremonial divisions. It's like a big passing out parade. It's like a Sovereign's parade, but on a slightly sort of less grand scale. But we get to meet some of the young trainees that are coming through, which is great. I mean, HMS Sultan is all about engineering, and we're working on doing the same over at HMS Collingwood. HMS Collingwood is so where I live, I'm situated between the two, so it'd be great to go along and see what they do along there. And I think what they do along there is they've got they're all the geeks, the technical side of stuff that they do. I did a course there a long time ago. Oh, I've got someone in the green room. Who we got in the green room? I've got Belletta. Hang on, let me see if I can get you in. This can I do it remotely? No, I think I'm going to have to do it this way. So I'm just going to change the setting. Bear back one. This see what's happening. I'm all over it. Hang on, I'll be with you in a sec. Oh, hang on.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Valeta. How you
Can I?
doing?
Could you? I'd rather not be on camera tonight, if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. I think we can hear you. So
Yeah, that's
let,
good. That's
let me
good.
swap the camera over and put my mug on it. How's that?
That'll do.
Um, that one there, I think. Yes. So
From both angles.
yeah, this is the way that I roll. You get the behind the scenes stuff as well, which is you don't
Yeah,
get it with
great.
every side. So
No.
this for anybody that's not seen this before, this is my setup. So I've got my mixing desk down here, which is working this mic, and this is my studio mic. It's a Rode NTG2 XLR mic, and that runs into the Rode Caster Pro. I've got my main camera there, which is a Sony ZV-1, and that's in a teleprompter, so that's why I'm able to look into the camera. I haven't got any. There's no script tonight, but normally the scripts I have for the quizzes. So that's how I run my quizzes, and it takes a little bit of brain power to get the coordination going with changing the questions on there and on there at the same time. So that's fun. And then I've got two monitors over there, so I can see. I'll give it a couple of little swipes, so I can see that we've had a couple of people in on Facebook, and then I'm getting also messages down on the old what do you call it? Yes, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. Yeah, look, I'll show you. There you go. See the comments coming in, so we can. Oh, I've done it again. Look, this this is how it works. You see, so I can pull up the comments. So we do the comments like that. But yeah, so I was talking tonight. We're looking at the causes of anxiety and depression and stress, and what they can lead on to, and where you can get help from. And I mean, somebody that's in a deep depression, they can end up doing something rather daft, and sometimes it gets to the point where they take their own life. We've covered suicide quite a bit recently because the numbers of veterans that are taking their lives is unprecedented. And the coroner's office, I think back in 2001, have just been informed to start taking or recording that somebody's a veteran that's taken their own life. So now we're starting to see the figures coming through, and there's I've lost the figures, but there's about 86 veterans. I think it's about a month taking their own lives. It's a really outrageous figure, and
Mm.
that's way more proportionate than civilians. I mean, I know farmers are a big into taking their own lives. I mean, and theirs is caused by not having enough funds to run the farm, and they're running themselves into the ground, and it gets too much, and the only way that they can see of getting out of it is to take their own lives. So, Belita, what can you see on this? Are you still there? Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I'm here. I'm here. When you say what can I see on this?
Hmm.
What on the
Well,
on your picture?
no. On the
No.
I know I look particularly gorgeous, but that
I mean, you
aside,
got two angles there, Tim.
I know that's because I've not got you on.
Sorry. Yeah. Um, yeah, no, it's not good. And I'd heard that actually about farmers. Seems to be very prevalent. with that. But I mean, farmers do it as a passion, don't they? I think there's never a
Yeah.
lot of money you don't in farming. Um, but yeah, I mean, did you have any luck with finding many support groups for veterans in the interim from our last conversation?
Yeah, I mean, if the easiest thing to do is to just jump online and just put a
Mm,
search in for veteran support groups, and it just comes
mm,
up with reams of them. There's a lot
mm.
that comes up. Let's 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 go back to this, and then I'll drop that. There you go. So, so you can talk over this, and then you just get to see me.
I mean, yes, it would be. I don't know whether it would be useful to air some of these groups for people on here. There just seems to be a need
Mm,
for things like this. I mean, I help out with a women's group called Ripple Pond, and are they're all ladies, and whether
yeah,
they're either ex-veterans or their wives of veterans, sometimes they need as much help as the veterans themselves because they care for their other halves and
yeah,
want to do the best for them, but sometimes that other half is not prepared to help themselves.
yeah.
Well, majority of the time, they need to want to help themselves, not always get better. It's not always that, is it, Tim? It's not always about
No,
getting better. It's just finding help
it, it,
to be able
it's
to
just
cope the best
realising you've
way
got a
they can.
problem. I think
That's
that's the
right,
hardest part.
absolutely. Yeah,
Mm,
and a lot of these ladies tried to help
yeah,
their other halves, and even though they care and love them, I think sometimes they give them too much help, and it
then it
they
manifests
they
itself
don't
into
want to
you
do
getting nagged and
and they
and
don't
then
want
you
to do
start.
anything
Yeah,
themselves. I mean, it's not always the case because sometimes there's drugs involved and all
yeah.
sorts of things, which
It's
isn't
just
good. But generally, yeah, I mean, you learn a lot. I've learned a lot, and um, you there are a lot of there's a lot more help out there now than there used to be. I think, Tim,
oh
from
Christ,
many
yeah.
years
There's
ago.
yeah. I mean, if you I mean, take the VOS for instance, Veterans Outreach Support that we've got down here.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
yeah,
based over in Gosport, over in Portsmouth, at the Royal
yeah.
Maritime Club. They help partners as well. Partners can register, and I mean both Rowena and myself are members. I mean, she went across yesterday to the hand cream thing, and as last Saturday I went out on motorboat 102. So they
Yep.
lay on that sort of thing. But there's also lots of specialist help that they can give you or direct you to, like from the drop-in centre we have on the first Wednesday of the month. They get lots and lots of different agencies in. For instance, Veterans UK, AA, SAFA, RBL, Service Dogs UK, Forgotten Veterans UK. Lots and lots of different agencies that are there specifically to
Mm,
give help and support to veterans.
mm,
And it's I mean they raise an awful lot of money for veterans.
mm.
Hi Catherine, I see you come over now. As far as I can see, there's a bit of trouble with Facebook. Is that right? Because it seems to be stop starting, but my internet seems solid at the moment, so I don't know what's occurring.
Yeah, it is
Um,
better on YouTube.
yeah, So what I'm trying to do is get everybody over onto to YouTube for both the channels. I've managed to do it with the quizzes, and got lots of people coming across now on the quizzes on the Tuesday, and I'm think I'm going to stop doing Facebook and just do it on YouTube. So, but I'll advertise it on Facebook, obviously, with the link to come across to YouTube. I think that's the best way of doing it, and then just scratch YouTube altogether. No, scratch Facebook when going live.
Mm. I always try and share it on Facebook. That's a good,
Yeah,
doing advertising, Tim, really, for it.
but we're trying to push this out as far and as wide, get this message out that mental health should be an everyday conversation. Mental health, it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to talk about it. And I think if we can go down this route of destigmatizing it, making it easy for people just to be able to talk to somebody, and I think that's the biggest key that we can do as a community, is just push that message out that it's okay to talk about it. It's okay not to worry about what other people think. It's about getting that support and help for the individual that is struggling, and that's basically all it comes down to. Is somebody is struggling, and it doesn't have to be complex issues. It doesn't have to be that they've got trauma that they've never got over, something like that. Yes, we could talk about that, but it might just be that somebody is not feeling themselves. They're just feeling a bit out of sorts because something hasn't quite gone right, and it just might need an arm, a big hug, and somebody just to spend 5 minutes to listen. And I think if we can encourage people to listen, and I think that's a big skill. And also, if you're gonna if you're gonna ask someone if they're all right, if they're really all right, and get them to open up, then make sure you've got the time to do that listening. Because once somebody starts opening up and telling their deepest, darkest secrets, and getting it off their chest, and you say, "Well, I've got to go and go and feed the dog or something," that's not helpful. But
Yes.
going back to the different agencies, I mean, the big ones are like Royal British Legion, SAFA, the benevolent funds. I mean, the ABF, the Royal Marines and not Royal Navy and Marines Charity, the RAF Benevolent Fund, Combat Stress, Help for Heroes. There's just a ton of service charities out there to help veterans in need, in their time of desperation.
I must say, Tim, there's although they are the bigger ones, a lot of
There's a lot of small
veterans
ones as
are.
well.
There's a lot of small ones. A lot of veterans are taking up the mantle, and it's really good that they are there for other veterans. I mean, a lot of the time, veterans want to talk to like-minded. They don't want to talk to a
Yeah,
civilian. So
that was
it's
my
really good.
problem. Yeah,
Oh, right. Yeah.
yeah, that's the problem I had. I had a little bit of a wobble, and it's one of the most common things when people leave the military. When they're in the military, they're generally fine. I mean, I spent 8 years as a welfare officer. You can just imagine some of the welfare cases that came across my desk, and on a daily basis, and what I was dealing with, and no problem at all.
I dread to
I,
imagine.
I left in 2018. In 2020, I think it was, after we'd been in lockdown, or it might have been 21 when we were coming out of lockdown.
Mm.
I struggled. I had a little bit of a wobble. I was. It's daft. I mean, I could watch a cartoon and well up, get all emotional. I could watch a film and get really emotional. And, this isn't me. so, so I thought, right now, because of all the training I've had, because of all the stuff I've seen, there's something not quite right. I went to the doctor. He referred me on to the local mental health team. I think I had about 4 sessions with 2 different psychologists. Now, they were good at what they did, but I personally found that um, they didn't understand my brain, the way I think, because of my background.
Yeah.
They weren't able to help me,
Mm.
and I got help through talking to a couple of mates, and I got through it that way. And now I still get a little bit emotional over silly films, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was because we sorted the problem out.
Yeah.
But
That's good.
I think peer to peer is a very powerful tool, and I think that's what this Forgotten Veterans UK are really good at. It's peer led, it's peer to peer,
Mm.
and they are really good at what they do. So there you go. That's that. So there are lots and lots of charities out there, lots and lots of help and advice. But I think if you are struggling, it's recognising that you have a problem. Once that's the first step on a journey, and every journey starts with the first step. Once you've recognised you've got a problem, then look for the solutions. And the solution would be see the doctor, or seek help from peers, or look for a charity that can help with that particular issue. I think that's probably the best way forward for it.
Yeah. I mean, there are a couple of Facebook groups for veterans, and it's amazing how many people reach out through
Yeah,
that. You know, they're having a bit of a wobble or they've got a problem, and straight away there's 20 or 30 veterans on there saying, you know, what do you need? What can we talk with? You know, give us a ring and all this. And that is a good
yeah,
help for these. You know, sometimes these guys and women are really struggling, and they just want to talk to someone. It's brilliant. You know, it's another way of talking and getting it out there.
yeah. Was it calling all call signs? Is that one? There's lots and lots
Um,
of Facebook groups out there with veterans groups, and you've only got to say anybody can help, and there'll be somebody who dives in and says yes, we'll
yeah,
help. I belong to quite a lot of veterans groups, so I see lots of this sort of things going on. And this weekend we've
yeah,
got the Royal Anglian Big Breakfast, so looking forward to that. We've got half, I think it was about 11 of us, something like that, going along. So it'll be a good breakfast, and there's set up all over the country. I think one of the big ones is up in
Lincoln, isn't it?
Salisbury.
Lincolnshire.
Yeah, there's 60 odd going to, I think, Salisbury. There's up Tidworth. And then you start getting up into the recruiting areas, and there's dozens of them up there. I think there was 40 odd breakfasts last year across the country. So that'll be a good chance to meet up with some guys and have a chat, and what's name it? what do you call it? Reconnect. That's what it's all to do. It's all to do with reconnecting. I'm off to Wales on my jollies. Excellent. There's, I think, Brecon. There's a big one out up in Brecon. Oh, wait, hang on, what's going on here? Making ISO recordings. Okay. Something just popped up, don't know what's going on. So we'll worry about it some other time. But
Yeah, so you're going to Wales, Tim, are you?
no, not me, Nigel.
Oh,
Nigel's
okay, yeah.
Nigel just popped up a Dubry what's it there. Let's have a look. See if we get it right this time. Hang on, let's. So we've got a bit of chat going on in the chat box. There you go. So Catherine's in tonight. Nigel's in. I've done it again. Look, why do I do that? Just put it there. Just leave that there. Come down to here. So Vanessa's in. Yeah. And I noticed Kelvin was in earlier. He was on Facebook, so I don't know whether it's still there on Facebook. But we've got a few in tonight, which is good. And of course, you can always watch these after the effect. After we've gone live, they're up there, so you can go back and look at any of the previous lives that we've done. We've talked lots and lots of stuff. Meet up with some poachers. Yeah, I think we've got a couple of poachers coming to Gosport. Got a few Vikings as well. I suppose we have to let them in. And I think there's a Pompadour or two coming as well. So we've got a mixed bag. So it should be good. But they're all over the country. I know there's a fairly big one over at Brecon. There's quite a few lads over that way that are going to enjoy a breakfast up that way. Because I'm on the organising list of people that put these things together. So I dare say that we'll be talking to people on there. And obviously mental health will come up because we all have troubles occasionally. But yeah, where do we go from here? So that's where we're going. That's this weekend. So it's a big weekend for Royal Anglians. This is the second annual big breakfast that we've held. There's and then we'll move forward and hopefully re-engage a few Royal Anglians that have fallen by the wayside. Then what we're doing, what else have we got coming up? Big one in Salisbury. Yep, I think there's a 60 odd there, and I think General John's going. He's going to be at that one. I did see. And then later in the year, we've obviously got the rugby. We've got the rugby match at Rochford this year in Essex. And then the following day is the gathering up at Duxford. And that's always a wonderful day out. That's my weekend sorted out. Rugby on a Saturday and the gathering on a Sunday. So I should be doing that. Also off on a battlefield tour. First time I've been on a battlefield tour, and that's with the regiment, and we're going to Holland and Germany. We're going to follow the Lincolns, Norfolks and Suffolks that took part in Market Garden. And then the following week I'm going to be in London for 2 days at a what am I going to be at? I've cut you off. Sorry, Valletta.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm listening
because I've changed scenes. Yeah, I'm going to the podcast show. That's in May, and then in June I'm off to the Bike Riders Festival.
You went last year, didn't you, Tim?
I did. Yeah, I had a great time. I did some recordings up there.
Was that the
No,
Ride to the Wall one?
right to the walls in October, but the
Oh,
Bike Riders Festival is
mm,
a 3 day festival. There's about 10,000 motorbikes descend on Ragley Hall. All the
wow.
manufacturers are there, and you can take the bikes out and take them on the cross country routes and all that sort of thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and I did some recording last year, and I managed to get an interview with Foggy, Carl Fogarty. And had him had him on the show, so that was good. And
Wow.
then
Yeah.
what else have we got going on? And then this year, because you can't get a hotel for love nor money in the country, not where you want to anyway, for various reasons, we've just bought a new tent. So we're going to be camping. We're going to be going camping this year, which should be good fun. Looking forward to doing a bit of camping. Taking the mutt.
Not the cat though, Tim. I
I
shouldn't
don't
think that
know.
I shouldn't think the cat would be interested in camping.
Well, I mean, he was a ship's cat, so he would probably adapt to it. But I think he's happier here, and
Yeah,
we've got somebody to look after him, so
that's
he'll
good.
he'll he'll be comfortable in his own environment. He tends to
Yeah.
sleep most of the day anyway. He
How
doesn't
old
really.
is he now?
He'll be 5 this year, I think. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. We should have called him Wellington. He's
No,
born on the 18th of June, so Waterloo. But
yeah,
R and
mm,
T, he got called Artie.
yeah. No,
Um,
he's definitely an arty.
he's a wonderful cat.
Yeah.
Love him to bits. He's a big boy. He's about getting on for 7 kilos. They're about 6.5, 7 kilos.
Mm, mm.
He puts Hudson in his place anyway.
Yeah. There's always a pecking order.
Oh, absolutely. Um,
Yeah,
and talking of animals, now animals are a great stress reliever.
definitely.
Um, and And as I say, there's a charity. They came on the show a little while ago, Surface Dogs UK, and they get rescue dogs. They marry them up with a veteran that's got complex PTSD, and they do work with them for a full year to get the dog and the veteran accredited. And once they've got the accreditation, the dogs are then have the same rights as a guide dog, so they can go
That's right.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Um, in fact, one of our guys, he's a poacher. He's got a service dog. Unfortunately, I had a message from him today. He was coming along to our big breakfast with his dog Ollie. Unfortunately, his mum fell over and broke her hip, and he's had to go and look after her up in Northamptonshire. So he
Oh,
may jump
bless.
in on one of the big breakfasts up there.
Mm,
There's a big one going on in Northampton. I think that's got 60 odd turn two on it.
mm. The one
It's
in
all well and good having
Lincoln
these
is
big breakfasts.
140.
The thing
Sorry,
with these
Tim.
big the things with these big breakfasts is the more people get there, the longer you've probably got to wait for your breakfast.
I know. I'm dreading the one up in Lincoln. There's 140 going, so I'm
Good
going to that one
grief!
Sunday. I know. I know. It'd be interesting.
Yeah,
Meeting up with a
uh,
few friends up there.
there'll be a lot of people, I'm sure.
Yeah, I
Um,
think there'd be a bum fight for the breakfast.
well, give my regards to anybody that knows me.
Yeah, I will. I will. Yeah.
Tell them to tune into the shows,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah. Yeah,
So animals
definitely.
are a great way of helping with depression, because
Mm,
you've got to look after them. They force you to get up in the morning. They force you to do what you don't want to be doing, and they'll pick up on your moods and your anxieties, and they'll help relieve it. So
mm,
that's
mm,
another avenue of of help with anxiety and depression and stress, get an animal. I mean, a
Definitely.
cat.
But I mean, they've been going. Veterans having dogs has been going for quite a while, where they find that very therapeutic. But I don't know whether it's just a year or two that they've started now specialising in therapy dogs, calling them therapy dogs, Tim.
I think they've been going for a while. Certainly, the guys I had on, they've been going for about 4 years.
Oh, is it that long?
And
Okay.
and at the time that they came on, they'd had 36 veterans and dogs go through their scheme,
Mm,
and they were starting new schemes or new veterans off all the time. So it's finding the right dog and matching them with the veteran, the right veteran, and then they
mm,
work with them. So they have a residential course, and they're constantly they have to meet up every week to do training to get the dog and the veteran into the scheme. And yeah, I lost the track there. Yes, so it's not easy, but they also incorporate the family as well. So the family's involved with the help with the training of the dog. Nigel says, unfortunately, I'm unable to have a dog where you live. That's quite often the case. If you're in sort of some sort of rented accommodation, don't always allow pets. We were going to have our son move down from Caterham to Gosport. He bought a flat, and they don't allow pets. So we were going to have his cat, and unfortunately, a couple of days before he moved out, the cat upped and died.
oh no! Oh my
Yeah,
goodness!
it's heartbroken. It was as good.
Oh,
Um, so so we were going to take on his cat, and say Artie was getting on all right with him. It was an indoor cat right from the start, and he was just getting used to going outside. And we think what possibly happened was that there was a plant in the garden that was poisonous. Artie never bothered chewing leaves and stuff like that, but he did, and we think
yeah,
that's probably the
yeah.
cause,
Mm.
which is a
Well, you
great
have to
shame.
watch that with dogs as well, Tim.
Yeah,
They can.
so I mean, the Duchess has done all the research, and anything that can do, is dangerous to cats or dogs is gone. It's got shot of it.
Same here. Yeah.
So Nigel said that he'd looked into service dogs, and I
Oh,
think
okay.
I think if you are if you can get a service dog that gets accredited, then I'm sure you will be allowed to keep it wherever you live.
Yes, because
Might
like you said, it's like a guide dog, isn't it?
because it's got exactly the same what's names as a guide dog.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it'd be somebody cruel to say you can't have your guide dog in the house.
There's always someone who puts a
Yeah.
spanner in the works, Tim. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's always some miserable sod. Somebody will want to cancel you for something or other.
Exactly. Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's another good outlet for veterans, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
dogs have got a very good sense of things,
Yeah.
and they
Craig's
use them as
in
well
as
when
well.
people are
Evening,
ill.
Craig.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
all right.
they
Carry
use them.
on.
They use them when people are ill, don't they? If they've,
Yeah,
like epilepsy or things like that, the dogs can sense when someone is going into an epileptic fit, and then not
yeah,
always, but there's things like that that's very helpful.
yeah. So
And
a mate of mine has got a dog that he takes into care homes and stuff like that, and into
oh
hospitals.
yes,
And he's one of these. I forget what they call him, but he's a dog that helps out. So that relieves people's
The
stress
elderly love that.
and yeah, I
Yeah.
forget what they call them.
The-
But yeah, I mean, dogs can be quite good for that. I mean, cats can be great company as well. Um, they can also be very, very independent.
Well, yes, I think, but Artie is an exception. I mean, taking Artie out on the boat and everything, not many cats would go anywhere near water.
Oh, you'd be surprised how many cats actually go to sea.
Really?
There's yeah, yeah. There's an awful lot of cats that live on boats.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah.
very surprised.
Therapy dogs. That's it. Thanks, Nige. So I saw Craig was in as well over on Facebook. So for some reason I'm not seeing comments coming in on Facebook, and I think Facebook's playing up a little bit tonight, as far as I can tell. But these things are sent to try us, so we're getting close to the hour, so we can pull the pin. So you're going to all quiet. So animals are a great company. They're great for helping with stress levels, helping out with anxiety, and yeah, they're great companions. I mean, Artie, he's his own boss. He's nowhere. You can't call him a lap cat at all. He'll he'll come and it's funny. He'll come and sit beside me in the evening and want his chin scratched and his ears scratched. And then when he's had enough, he'll get up, turn around and just lay down beside me and say, "I've had enough."
Yeah, yeah. So it's
And
on his terms.
oh, absolutely, yeah.
Mm,
But he won't walk over you unless he doesn't know you're there. So occasionally he comes in and walks across the bed and maybe walk on you then. But he does like to jump up and look out the window. So he does
yeah,
that, and Hudson, it drives Hudson nuts because he just keeps out of reach. And
yes,
and
yeah,
if Hudson does get too close, then he gets a right hook or a left hook and the odd uppercut
yeah,
and gets a
yeah,
clout on the nose for it. So from that point of view, they're really funny together. They just about tolerate each other.
yeah.
But
But I
Hudson,
think they get there's a pecking
there's
order,
that
and they
there's
between
that
them they go a
hierarchy.
little bargy and
Yeah,
they sort themselves out. I know I have that with Muzzy and Frankie. I mean, Muzzy's very cuddly, but Frankie will come up when she's ready.
yeah,
She'll come up and then she'll say, "That's it, I've had enough," and off she goes. But Muzzy
yeah.
would stay there all night with cuddles.
Well, Hudson's a bit of a lapdog,
Bless him.
and he'll just sit on your head if you.
Will
They're a
he?
nuisance at 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah,
Yeah, oh, that's not good.
when they want feeding at that time of the day. But there you go. These
Yeah,
things are centre tries. So
they are.
if you haven't given us the old thumbs up button tonight, please feel free to click the like button, to subscribe to the channel, pop comments in. We like all of that sort of thing.
Mm.
And if you like what we do, spread the word. We do talk about lots of mental health issues. Next week, I think I've got somebody lined up for next week. I might have, in fact, I think I've got two people lined up for next week. Let me double check. Let's have a look at there. Yeah, I've definitely got somebody in for next week, the 2nd of March, and the 9th of March. So I've got people lined up for the next couple of weeks.
Oh, good. I'll step back then, Tim.
Give you a break.
No, that's good. Yeah. Do we get an idea of who that might be?
What have we got on next week? I think we're looking. I think I think we're looking at addictions.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're going to talk addictions next week, whether it's drugs, booze, um, gambling, sex, all sorts of addictions that cause mental health issues. So we'll see how we get on.
Mm,
I
okay,
think
good,
that's what I
good.
think that's what we're talking about next week.
Yeah.
I've got so much going on. It's like that.
All these balls you're juggling above your head, Tim.
I know, and he's been involved with all these other groups. So it just it's time. I don't know how I had actually time to go to work. To be honest, I don't know how to. Yeah, so we keep ourselves out of our mischief. So I think I'm going to thank you very much, Valita, for joining me this
Yep,
evening. As
no problem at
always,
all.
you've been
Thank
an
you.
absolute star. And let me
Yep,
just
always enjoyable. Thank you, Tim.
yes, you've been a star again, and thank you for joining in the conversation. Um,
All right.
I'll catch you in a minute. So there's a big thank you. I knew it was there somewhere. So if you want to join in the conversation, if you want to come on the show, just drop me a message and we'll set it up. I'll just give you the link. You come in a little while before the show, and then hey presto, we're in it. We're all over it like a cheap suit. We can have that conversation, and it can be anything in the related to the old mental health. We cover bereavement, we cover death, suicide, we cover addictions, we cover anxiety, depression, you name it. We'll talk about it, and we want to bring it into an everyday conversation. We want to destigmatise mental health because it's important, and it's important because everybody suffers from it sooner or later, and everybody needs a little bit of help and pointing in the right direction. So if you want to come on the show, let us know, and don't forget, because there's nothing on the telly, you can always join me every Tuesday for the quiz, and every Thursday for these live everyday conversations regarding mental health. We'll come to you live from the old Heale Manor. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click the bell icon, click the like button, and all the rest of it. And if you're feeling generous and you've got a couple of quid to spare, you can always buy me a coffee, but it's not compulsory. So, thank you everybody. Until next week, TTFN, and I'll catch you then.